Welcome, it's Domain Dave from cheapwinefighter.com, another companion podcast like we always do. For a wine we just put on the cheapwinefighter.com website. What do we have today? I gotta look at the wine. What is it? It is I should know it, but it's from Aldi. I found it for $6.69, which is a very weird price. It was on a store sale. I think it's closer to $9. And it's the Stormchaser Charging Chardonnay 2020 from the Columbia Valley. It is a wine by Precept Wines, which is the largest privately held wine company in the Columbia Valley. Chateau Saint Michel is the largest wine company. They used to be owned by a tobacco company, and they just recently got bought by a private investment firm. The tobacco company left them alone to do what they wanted, and I think the private investment firm will too, but it's too early to find out. So this is a Chardonnay from a fairly large brand. I'm going to take a sip. For the value price wines, there is kind of a house style for lesser expensive wines out there, and it's usually ripe, fruit-forward wines, lots of flavor, but with balance and good acidity. I mean, it's a great place if you're looking for an inexpensive wine. They just do it really well there. And this one is not kind of to that template. This is kind of lean and sleek and subtle. I mean, nothing jumps out at you. Everything is kind of balanced, but there is enough flavor. I mean, the mid-palate evolves. I mean, the front end evolves to a mid-palate, and they're distinct. There's two different flavor things going on. There's good length to it, but it's not one of those wines that are to jump out at you. It's like 13% alcohol, which is low nowadays for Chardonnay, especially if you go further south in California where it's a bit warmer. You're getting 13.5, 14 on a regular basis. So this is something a little bit unexpected. It's got good flavors. It's got green apple and pear and melon and lemon and lime, and it's got some that Anlis nutty thing. More nutty than salty this time, but it's there, and some vanilla, some cream, and some butterscotch. But the flavors for the oak flavors, which the last few I mentioned, oak flavors, aren't cloying. They don't jump out. They're just kind of like an even par with the fruit and citrus flavors. I'm gonna take another sip. So it's kind of a balanced Chardonnay. It's a little bit too light for a food wine. Maybe salads would be fine for salads, I think. Fancy salads. Maybe whitefish, something that's not overly, doesn't have a lot of flavor to it that you can balance. This is a subtle wine. If something that needs a lot of acidity, this one has acidity, but it's not that type of wine. More of a sipping wine. This is kind of a Tuesday night. You don't want to spend too much money, but you want a decent wine kind of wine, and this one does it. And since Aldi hasn't had a new wine on their shelves in like 6 to 10 months, it's fun to finally get one, and it's actually fun to drink and fun to try. It might not be your favorite Chardonnay, but it does just fine. It does what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't cost that much. The wine, it's hard to find new wines to talk about because it seems that a lot of especially for value price wine, a lot of the bottles came from China. I mean, who knew that China had more sand than we did? I thought Owen Corning made all the biggest in the world, but maybe they make theirs in China. I'm not sure. And then the transportation holdups, and Aldi's and Trader Joe's is always big on having European wines. They're not coming in, and just general COVID issues are still holding things up. So it's still here, and we're still trying to get a new wine that's kind of fun to drink and different and not what it's expected to be. I like it. And then, like I said, you're hanging out. I would think maybe out on the porch or a patio or something. Today in Chicago, it was cold and wet. It was more like winter than spring, but this is more of a spring wine too. I'm gonna take another sip because it does taste great. It just lean and sleek rather than fat and juicy like most value price Chardonnay. And actually not being like most value price Chardonnay is a good thing. You want a wine, especially a wine that's inexpensive, that changes things up, that gives you a little change of pace with, and you don't expect it. You expect the very inexpensive one, $6.69 or whatever, to more be like a template. They can do that easier just to make a wine that tastes like you expect it. But this one doesn't, so that's a good thing. So that's it for me. This is a Stormchaser Charging Chardonnay 2020. It's not really a charging Chardonnay. It's more of a sneak up on you Chardonnay. But that's it for me. Domain Dave from cheapwinefighter.com. Like us where you like your podcast. If you will, push the button. It'd be cool. If you don't, well, just listen to us. Thank you for listening. And we got more coming up. Hopefully the weather turns better, so you feel like drinking wine. And when it's cold and wet, who knows what you want to do. So that's it for me, Domain Dave. Keep it cheap, stay warm or stay dry or stay whatever you need. Your weather is where you're at, and stay safe. Adios and bye-bye. Keep it cheap.